Hello, my name is Alicia Tolman, Director of Carbon Markets with the American Biogas Council. This video is going to serve as a brief introduction of our biogas carbon accounting tool known as Biogas CAT. We're going to go over its intent and a general overview of what you can expect to see in each of the calculators. As a brief disclaimer, for more detailed information on the tool's intent, assumptions, the methodologies used in each of the calculators, please refer to our Biogas CAT governance document, which is available on our website. In addition to that document, more detailed instructions on how to use each of the calculators will be available on our website. You can find all of those materials at americanbiogascouncil.org/CAT. Next slide. As a brief overview of the American Biogas Council, who we are and what we're about, we exist to serve as the voice of the U.S. biogas industry and to maximize carbon reduction and economic growth using biogas systems. We represent more than 400 companies in all parts of the biogas supply chain and are committed to leading the way to a better future by maximizing all the positive environmental and economic impacts biogas systems offer when they recycle organic material into renewable energy and soil products. Next slide. So what is Biogas CAT and why was it created? It was developed by industry experts, eco-engineers for the American Biogas Council. This tool aims to build on existing regulatory programs and voluntary carbon market methodologies to supplement the needs and interests of the biogas industry. Specifically, what this tool aims to do is first, provide an opportunity to calculate lifecycle carbon intensity, or CI, for biogas projects on an emission per energy basis, based on the end use of the biogas, which allows for non-transportation end uses. Second, provides an opportunity for biogas projects to convert their CI score calculated within this methodology to an equivalent GHG reduction based upon project-specific energy production. Third, our tool provides an opportunity for biogas projects to account for and monetize more environmental benefits associated with the digestate itself. And lastly, this tool provides a standardized approach to biogas carbon intensity, which streamlines conversations about biogas in voluntary carbon markets across multiple economic sectors. So I'm going to turn it over now as we talk about Biogas CAT and its intent and where it came from to our partners at Eco-Engineers to share a little bit about why this tool is created and the value it adds to companies within the industry.
Thanks, Alicia. Hey, everybody. Brad Plima with Eco-Engineers. We're really excited to partner with the American Biogas Council on the development of the carbon accounting methodology and the Biogas CAT tools. I met with Patrick Surface 2 years ago, and ABC really saw the need for a gap in the industry where entities were looking how to calculate project-based carbon intensity scores outside of a regulated environment. And most people in the industry were referencing the California Air Resources Board LCFS program, and CARB did a very good job of providing simplified tools, but those simplified tools were reflective of the California LCFS regulation. And what Biogas CAT does is it expands the overall sum system boundaries, and it really takes into account a broader sense of the environmental benefits of biogas projects. And we're going to go through, Chris Rogers from the Eco-Engineers team will go through some examples of where the Biogas CAT tool differs from simplified California 3.0 or 4.0 calculators. So we're really excited to partner with ABC. We think this will fill a gap in the biogas marketplace to understand CI scores for a wide range of biogas projects, whether that's the various end uses that Alicia mentioned, or what people are using that biogas for, whether it's electricity, renewable natural gas, or maybe as an input into hydrogen or other next generation and innovative energy sources. So with that, I'm turning it over to Dave Lindenmuth to talk a little bit about where eco-engineers can see the value in the marketplace from a commercial perspective. Dave?
Thanks, Brad. When I joined Eco-Engineers about a little over 3 years ago, I had an early conversation with Brad and Shashi, our CEO. And I remember Shashi asking me about, my previous role, what was one of the biggest challenges in advancing project development and really getting new buyers engaged in those conversations. And what I explained was really two things. One was that those conversations usually happen, privately between two parties to facilitate whether they're transportation or non-transportation transactions. But then the second thing that I think was even more important was how to quantify and communicate the benefits of projects to a potential buyer. And so I was really passionate to help out with this project and help Heather and other people at ABC go to the marketplace and explain to them the difference between the regulated programs, those that incorporate regulatory policies that they're not, there's not problems with them, but they're focused on the regulations or the things they're trying to solve. So if you're using a transportation focused model or one that's focused in a certain geography, there are reasons why they're making certain decisions or assumptions in that model. And so having the biogas CAT tool be able to communicate to all different types of buyers with different types of project specific decisions around your project, and then really being able to take that, use that across multiple applications, talk to regulators who maybe are thinking about volumetric goals or other goals for biogas, maybe power production and thermal use. And so I feel privileged to have been part of this, and really our next phase is obviously partly this video, and then the others to come after it is engaging with industry, getting their feedback on this, and making sure that buyers at the end of the day are comfortable and understand this is science-based. It's not, we took industry feedback, but the industry didn't get every single benefit or claim that they would like to make, because we want to be consistent with those other, sort of baseline assumptions and rules that voluntary markets and other projects are held to. And so I think that's really the next step here is going out into the marketplace and driving the adoption of this tool for the benefit of both buyers who want to decarbonize and those that are building projects.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Brad and Dave. I know we at the ABC are so grateful for your partnership, and I think you both spoke beautifully to how this tool is developed and the deliberate approach to a collaborative partnership, a science-based approach, and getting that industry-wide feedback. Those three things being balanced in a way to come up with the best version 1 as possible to help advance the biogas industry. So thank you. Now we're going to move into a brief overview of what you can expect to see in each of the calculators. So what Chris Rogers with Eco-Engineers, one of the key developers of the tools, will walk us through is just a general overview of the layout of each of the tools, what you can expect to see, and a few of the key ways these calculators enable users to more accurately calculate the CI of biogas projects, which will be reinforced in each of the subsequent videos that are specific to manure, food waste, landfill gas, and wastewater. So I'm going to hand it over to Chris with Eco.
Hey everyone, this is Chris Rogers from Eco-Engineers, and right now I'm going to be walking you through an overview of the biogas CAT model. We have a couple other videos that are going to go into the nuances of each of the calculator, but this intends to provide a brief lay of the land and some of the core principles that we have throughout each of the calculators. So as you can see here, we have the landfill gas calculator. 4 different calculators: the landfill gas, manure, wastewater treatment, and the organic waste. All of these are kind of based off biogas upgrading, obviously, but the main things that differ around them is the system boundaries. In each of the calculators, we show the system boundaries, and all those they can be found in the accompanying ABC regulation put out. These help define what you could and could not put in. Ultimately, though, the biogas model serves as a tool to be able to model whatever project you have. And the acceptance or not is on the audit or the regulation that you apply into. So for all of the models, we have very similar construction. We tried to maintain consistency through the model. So as you open up different models, you're familiar with the different ways things are split up. So if there are additional things that need to be requested, at least you'll still understand the first 70%. We've also included some gray areas. These impact what you need to fill out and what you don't. Everything here is just run off formulas and conditional formatting. So there's no macros involved in the calculation. We did put a calculate macro here, but you can also do calculation options here by clicking automatic, or if on manual, you can just hit calculate now. Either way, those three ways of automatic, manual, calculate now, and this calculate button will help generate that CI score. The CI scores are always generated over on the right, indicating what kind of pathway there is, as well as the different inputs and the different outputs of the CO2 CI. All the calculators are equipped with three entries: RNG injected, RNG thermal, and electricity generation. It doesn't mean that these are the predefined ways, but you could really do anything you want. But we think these are three pretty vast, wide-ranging buckets that hit everything. I mentioned this gray area here, showing you that, for instance, for CNG injected, these are the things that you need to fill out: the production, the methane content, so on and so forth. If we were to switch to electricity generation, different things would change. So now this says RNG used for electricity generation. This is no longer grayed out, asking the user for the input to electricity generation. And the unit is now grayed out because all units are on the, for both the California and the green models, they're grams of CO2 equivalent per kilowatt hour. Speaking of both of the models, this biogas cap model is based on the CARB 3.0 simplified calculator. We're using most of the emission factors are from the 3.0, but we also allow the user, if you can see here, we also included the GREET 4.0 versions. Eventually in the future and in future iterations, we'll be using the newer GREET model, but we felt that the changes between the two were significant enough to include that GREET electricity 4.0 grid mix. So going back to a high level, again, you'll see these similar points on each of the calculators: the inputs, process energy, if you'd like user-defined electricity, transport distance, carbon capture sequestration, thermal combustion end fate. Again, you can notice that this is all grayed out because we are selected for electricity. The calculator really tries to put on guardrails so that you aren't finding information that you don't need. The CNG to LNG, LCNG production inputs, and then those user-defined electricity emissions. So you should find everything that I just went through there. And what changes is those avoided emissions. So for instance, in the landfill gas, there's additional landfill gas capture avoided emissions included. So each of these calculators have their own avoided emissions that you can define, but ultimately we hope we've created a user-defined, user-friendly model for the industry. thanks for having me.